outsourcing relationship effect on small and medium enterprises success through the moderating effect of entrepreneurial competencies, an empirical study on the information technology sector in Egypt. This study is conducted by Noah Binderi, and on behalf of, we'll be presenting it on behalf of Dr. Aisha Bunyawi, Faculty of Commerce, Ain Shams University. The study includes an introduction, a literature review, discussing the methodology, including the hypothesis, the questionnaire, the sample, the data analysis, and then finally the conclusion. The introduction starts by providing a background on small and medium enterprises. We started by defining small and medium enterprises in general as a definition by Bolton 1971. Mainly, the small and medium enterprises is considered to be any small business that has a small customer base, has a small market share, has a small presence in the market. This is considered to be a small and medium enterprise. There is another definitions developed for small and medium enterprise. One of those definitions was developed by the European community, and another one was developed by the Federation of Industries in Egypt. The European community divided or considered the small, medium, and micro enterprises as of this data, starting by micro, which is less than 10 headcounts and turnover of less than 2 million euros and balance sheet items equal to 2 million euros. While if we consider the Federation of Industries in Egypt definition, it's a little bit different. It includes the micro with less than 10 million Egyptian pounds, or sorry, 10 individuals as labor, and a capital of less than 50,000, and annual sales of less than 5 million, which is different than what we have in the European community. Also, they have the small and medium enterprises in a different ratio as of the European. Here we have the small starts from 10 to 100, while in the European community it's actually less than 50. So we still have somehow variances or differences here. As of the turnover, we are having here from 50,000 LE till 5 million. Here we are having here from 10 million euros, which is somehow higher in the European community. And as of the annual sales, it's still higher. Here we are having 50 million euros, and here we are having from 5 to 50 million. This is as of the definition of the small and medium enterprises. As of the background, or as of what developed, the background of the problem of our research, this research is empirically studying the IT sector. The IT sector, as of the government statistics, say that we are having in Egypt almost 4,000 Egyptian companies working in the IT sector. The number of registered software companies as of the data developed by the ITIDA doesn't exceed 200 companies. Actually, those 200 companies was taken from the database of the ITIDA itself. So we can say that the ITIDA is the most official, accepted community, or most official accepted authority that provide data on software companies in Egypt. The software companies is considered to be specialized mainly in application solutions, okay, either tailored or packaged. Most of them are internationally oriented. Internationally oriented by means that they cannot work alone in the domestic market. They need to be working in the domestic market and internationally in order to be able to compete. Some companies get to know their partners through the third parties, and the mean of entering is usually through subcontracting. So we can see here that those companies are not going by themselves to the international community. Usually the owners of these businesses are self-initiators. They are trying to develop what we call formal and informal relationships through personal connections. Most of them unfortunately lack the marketing and the management skills to sustain a long-term relationship with partners outside the MENA region. Most of the relationships we have in Egypt in general are from international partners in the Arab world or in the Middle East region. Very few of them are developed outside or in the European region, mainly in Europe. Okay, now the aim of this study mainly identified the entrepreneurial competencies for a small and medium enterprise owner. It identified the dimensions of the international outsourcing relationship. It studies the effect, or it mainly aims to study the effect of those competencies, the entrepreneurial competencies, on international outsourcing relationship dimensions. In addition, they study the effect of those international outsourcing dimensions on SME's success. And then finally, along with this relationship, they are testing if there is a moderation effect between the entrepreneurial competencies and the relationship between outsourcing relationship and SME success. Okay, the literature review supporting this study starts by discussing what we call the entrepreneurial competencies. They define, or I define it, and I provided the scale that we use. And here we also discussed the definition of outsourcing, in addition to the skills that we developed and the phases of the outsourcing, and then finally the SME's success. First, the definition of the entrepreneurial competencies varied. We didn't have, or I found lots of definition related to the entrepreneurs and what would be considered as an entrepreneur in general and in Egypt in general. However, after studying or making lots of studies, we found, or I reached to a study made by Man and Wu in 2002, which identified that the entrepreneur needs to possess 6 areas of competencies, starting by the opportunity competencies, relationship competencies, conceptual competencies, and organizing competencies, strategic competencies, and commitment competencies. The opportunity competency related to how far is able to develop or grab an opportunity. The relationship, how is capable of developing formal and informal relationship, either inside or outside the organization. Conceptual thinking, meaning his thinking as an abstract. Is he able to think in an abstracted manner? Organizing, how far he's able to organize his resources. Strategic, the way he's thinking on the long term. And then finally, how far he's committed to his business. Then we are having the outsourcing itself, or the outsourcing phases. The outsourcing means that you are assigning somebody else to do a task or a function in your organization. Now, as we have here, there are phases for outsourcing. You are having cost phase, where the goal of the organization is to focus on developing or reducing its cost. And then finally, the resources, we are getting to have more of the resources to be developed by the outsourcee. And then finally, the partnership, we are fully trusting, or we are having some sort of a trustful relationship, so we are fully sharing with each other all of the aspects of our businesses, which is the final phase. Now, a study was developed by Juan et al. In 2004 found that there are a number of dimensions for the outsourcing relationship dimension. This study was done in 2 phases mainly. First phase started by making an interviews or a qualitative research by the respondents and the researcher, and they found that most of the topics related to the relationship was fallen under those dimensions, starting by what we call the accurate project scoping, clear authority structures, taking charge, effective human capital management, effective knowledge transfer, and finally building effective inter-organizational teams. So they used this type of dimensions, and they did what we call quantitative research, and they found that there is some sort of a relationship between these items and the success of the relationship itself. And then finally, we have the small and medium enterprises success. Mainly, if we are speaking about success for any business, it's somehow measured financial and non-financial terms. Here, there are other ways to develop or to measure the success. There are some benchmarks developed. However, for a small and medium enterprise, the most common or the most acceptable measure was what we call the financial and the non-financial terms, or mainly the profit terms and what we call the satisfaction of the employees, the satisfaction of the customer terms. Okay. Now, what we did in this study, or we developed from this study, a number of hypotheses, and we try to develop it, or we try to prove it later on in our quantitative study. Okay? Now, this was the hypothesis, and then we used the scales we discussed before, and then our population were mainly software companies in IT that they based in both Cairo and Alexandria. Sampling was a random sampling technique. Here was the results of hypothesis 1. I can read you the competencies, but we can focus on the highest of them all, which is what we call the relationship and the conceptual competency. This is considered to be the highest, which is higher than 0.515 and 0.531. Okay, and this is another table showing the model or the multiple regression model for all of the competencies we have as of the relationship dimension, outsourcing relationship dimension. Now we here found that most of these items, which is opportunity seeking, organization, strategic thinking, and commitment skills, are considered to be non-significant. However, as of the relationship building conception, it's considered to be the highest significance, and the betas is as follows: 0.356 and 0.340, which is considered to be a high or some sort of an acceptable result. Okay, the second hypothesis studies what we call the relationship between the outsourcing and the SME success. However, they are not that much strong because the values here is 0.062. Okay. Finally, our third hypothesis, developing the relationship between the what we call the outsourcing relationship and the success, using the moderation effect of the entrepreneurial competencies. Here, the results were somehow high. It was 0.318 or 0.318, which is much higher, which shows that there is some sort of an effect, a moderating effect of entrepreneurial competencies on the relationship. And then finally, this is our conclusion. There is a relationship between entrepreneurial competencies and outsourcing relationship dimensions. Most of these components, most important of them is what we call relationship building and conceptual. And then finally, there is a relationship between outsourcing relationship and SME success. However, such relationship is not strong enough. We need to have an entrepreneurial competence as a moderator in order to have it a successful relationship. Thank you.